Hey guys, welcome back to Ponderings from Palm Coast. I'm Mark Webb, and I want to thank you guys for watching all of the podcasts that I've been putting out. Remember, we need to like and subscribe so that we can continue growing. Been doing this almost a year now.
Wow.
It's amazing. So, as promised, I'm bringing you all the running candidates that I can get to come visit. And today I have Suzanna
Pavelle.
And she's running for House District 19. That's up in Tallahassee. And I will tell you from my own heart, this is probably the most important race we as Democrats need to get behind, fund, and push. And we're going to touch on that and a little more. But Suzanna, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having
Thanks
me.
for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to chat with me a little bit. And the first thing I always like to ask, because we are in Palm Coast, and I've only met one or two people that are actually from here. What brought you to Palm Coast?
I've been living in St. Augustine for 26 years. I met my husband in Oregon when I was finishing up college. We moved to Hawaii, and then we moved to North Carolina, and then he picked St. Augustine, and we've been there for 26 years.
I love that. He picked.
Well, I dragged him from Oregon to Hawaii.
Oh,
to
I
North
see. So it's that
Carolina,
quid
so it
pro quo.
was- yeah.
I'm experiencing that myself right now. So, how did you get to Palm Coast? Oh, so I'm sorry. You still live up
I
in...
still live in St. Augustine, so
Okay.
Florida House District 19 covers all of Flagler County and the southern part of St. John's where I live.
Right. What made you decide to throw your hat in this ring?
I never wanted to run for political office. It never was on my list of things I wanted to do. I'm a small business owner. I've lived here for 26 years, and I've been getting increasingly frustrated over the years of the overdevelopment. I'm tired of all the traffic. I'm tired of seeing all the clear cutting, all the animals getting killed. And costs are going up. Electricity, water, all of those things. And I've been complaining for many, many years and finally decided to try to do something about it.
Well, that's amazing, and we all see those things, but many of the people I talk to don't really understand where the control or the ability to stop or have a conversation about what laws and how things are happening. And I think you've hit it on the head that Florida is losing local control every single cycle. And I am not saying that myself. I hear that from our elected officials at the county and at the city level who are becoming more and more useless or frustrated that they, like you, are seeing these things. It's not a party issue. It's what we're all experiencing as we drive around. So what is it? What are you going to do for us? What do you want to change up in Tallahassee?
I'd like to see home rule coming back to the county. So in St. Johns County, we had a comprehensive development plan. I went to a lot of the meetings, met with people who were working on it, and Tallahassee decided to just get rid of it because it was saving too much green space. And things like that are frustrating because in St. Johns County, specifically St. Augustine, there are certain areas you can't go at high density times. Like I try to avoid going downtown, the 312 US 1 area, Flagler, you see it here too. And the developers aren't paying their fair share to make sure the infrastructure is in place so that we can actually enjoy where we live.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the citizens of the area have a much better appreciation of the things that are going on than people sitting in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, and people in St. Johns County and also Flagler, I keep on hearing, I see them complain on Nextdoor, on Facebook, and they're complaining about the county commissioners, but it's not their fault. They don't have the ability to do what Tallahassee is taking away from them.
I know. I have to correct people all the time when I hear them complaining about the traffic on 100 here in Palm Coast. Notorious. We all suffer with it and whatever. And then I realized, so that State Road 100 falls under the jurisdiction of the state as an example
Yeah.
of where your frustration needs to come from. So do you think getting up to Tallahassee and being a voice up there will hope to, because there are more and more voices up there that are hearing from, I listened to your challenger, the incumbent, and he's easy to hear, and he talks a big game about trying to bring back local control, but he never votes for it, and he never pushes for it, because my opinion, but our state government is run by lobbyists who sit up there and buy our elected officials to push forward developer needs, economic needs. I learned something the other day. My father-in-law's building a home up in Washington. And he called out of frustration saying, they just told me that I had to put solar on my house. And I looked it up. The state of Florida state of Washington, liberal Washington, passed a law stating that new homes will have solar systems
That's
to
awesome.
help with the offset of natural gas and electricity. It's supported. There's funding available. There's money been made available to help people out. His initial response was, oh, big government's coming in telling me what to do. But after he had somebody within the builder group explain to him what the value and the cost is going to be of the longevity of it, it was a no-brainer. Do you think that could happen here in Florida?
I'd love to see it happen, but we did have the tax credits for a while for solar, but I believe they've expired.
They've expired
Yep.
in January.
And we've had solar for our pool, our previous house, and that worked out very nicely.
Really?
It reduced our overall electrical costs and kept the pool warm.
Yeah, it was interesting. I ran some numbers, and FPL, who's my power provider, would lose 78% of its income if it was mandatory that every new home built in Florida or in this area would have a solar system with enough support to provide at least basic power for that house.
I would love to have solar at our house. I mean, we have a lot of roof that could use. Yeah.
And Florida, come on, we
Yeah.
get probably 280 days a year of sun.
But our FPL bills are also going up too because Tallahassee decided to approve their rate hike as well.
I saw that as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they shouldn't. I mean, they make so much money already.
they do. So how's your campaign going?
It's coming along.
Yeah.
I'm getting petitions. I'm a little behind on the petitions. I definitely need more petitions. So if anybody in your audience is willing to sign my petition, I'd be grateful.
Well, where can we find them?
On my website, SuzannaPavelle.com. SuzannaPavelle.com.
Can we also give you money at that website too?
You sure can.
Well, can't get anywhere without money nowadays.
Yep. So you can donate. You can learn more about the campaign, and you can print out the petition form and either drop it off at the Dems headquarters or the supervisor of elections in Flagler County.
So you can go onto your website, print out the form, which is very specific in how you do that. Make sure you
Yes.
follow those directions.
You have to put your name, your address, and the date signed. The date signed is the most important part.
Right. Have you had some of your petitions kicked back?
Oh gosh, yes.
I'm hearing a lot.
In Flagler County, about 10% are getting kicked back. In St. Johns County, about 30%. Because part of the reason in St. Johns County is it's a split district.
So people are not in your district when they
Yeah.
trying to help you out and it gets kicked back.
But the date is really key. So if someone
Right.
screws the date up, so if somebody scribbles something out and doesn't initial it, it gets rejected. If you can't read the handwriting, it gets rejected. If your signature doesn't match your driver's license, it gets
Yeah.
rejected.
And a lot of people don't know this, but you have to pay to have it reviewed.
Yep, even if you get one that's rejected, it's 10
It's
cents.
10 cents per petition. The county elections office charges the candidates to review the document. Do you try to review them as best you can before you send them in?
Yep, I do. I review them. They get reviewed in Flagler and St. Johns County too at the Democratic headquarters.
Right.
I review them at my house for the ones that I have.
Absolutely. So, and I believe, and I've seen your petitions are at the Flagler County Democratic office.
Yep.
To please, 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 we need to get her on the ballot to go against the long-term Republican, and these guys have been in office. It's like I tell other elected officials who complain about things in Florida, and I go, you realize that the Republicans have been running this state for
Decades.
decades.
And they have a supermajority right now. And a lot of people are complaining about the county commissioners, and it's
not their fault.
No.
There are some minor things that go on within it, but the kind of problems that I hear, and I know you hear, builder development and road maintenance, and even with the school board, they're even controlling all aspects of your lives. And it's at Tallahassee. And I thank you so much for jumping in the race to run. What kind of things are you learning as you're going around knocking on doors, talking to people? Do we even know that we have a 19th district?
A lot of people don't know that there's a 19th district. A lot of people have no idea of who the incumbent is. And a lot of people, like if I talk to Democrats, they're cool. They're happy to sign my petition. Republicans are not so much. They keep on saying they'll never vote for a Democrat, and I've asked why, and that is an interesting conversation which doesn't usually go anywhere.
Right.
And they say they don't like development, and I'm like, well, we've had Republicans in charge for decades, so maybe a change is in order. But it's not going so well with the Republicans. The independents are super excited.
Right, and that is a huge group. Mm-hmm. You know, you cannot underestimate, based on loose numbers, the independents, or what we like to call non-affiliated, welcome to the state of Florida, and Democrats have more than enough ballot potentials to win these races. But I love your conversation where you have someone that says, I hate everything that's going on, but I'll never vote for a Democrat.
Yeah.
I love opening the door to those kind of conversations.
Well, they're not going very well for me, honestly.
Well,
but at least it's a conversation. And what I'm explaining is it doesn't mean that they're voting for me. They're just going to help Sam Greco to have a competitor so that he can actually explain why he took $10,000 from Sig Sauer with their guns that just happened to fire by mistake.
Oh, yeah. No. There's, we could go on and on about the specifics, and there'll be plenty of time for that. I think today, and for you, it's important to let our viewers and our listeners know you are an option of change. If you don't like things that are going on, of which there's a plethora of them, that's a catchphrase my wife hates me using, the word plethora.
Why is that?
Because she thinks I abuse it, and I think it fits.
It's a
perfectly.
good word.
It is a great word. But the point I'm making is shining a mirror on what is happening and understanding who owns it is the challenge that we're facing, you are facing, those that came before you were facing, of believing in mis and disinformation and not realizing that when you complain about your power bill, you complain about the gas prices, when you complain that another 600 home developments coming in, you have to understand who you need to blame, who you need to know that controls that. When your city officials tell you, well, that's really great, I'd love to repair State Road 100 or put in better lights or put in a turn lane on US 1 that's needed because of the growth, you need to talk to the state. You need to have a voice in the state.
Yep.
And I want you to be that voice because
Well,
we need an alternative view of things. So I had asked you earlier, you've been up to Tallahassee and kind of watched how that goes?
Yep, I've been to Tallahassee a few times.
Scary?
A little intimidating.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge.
Yeah.
Because change starts with one person. I believe it. I've seen it. You guys have seen it. I've seen 3 or 4 people show up at city council to complain about something the city wants to do, and it changed the way they thought.
Yeah.
It does work.
It does, and that's why I'm running, is that I feel like I could be a voice for the regular people, because that's not what we have in Tallahassee, and that's not what we've seen in Tallahassee for decades, since I've lived here.
No, exactly. So I was getting back to, as you are knocking on doors and introducing yourself and talking to people, what are you hearing from them?
Their biggest concerns are the cost of living, overdevelopment, and education, which are the 3 things that I'm going to be focusing on. So that was actually cool. The overdevelopment seems to be the overriding issue that people have.
Right.
They're tired of prices going up with electricity, with water, with traffic, the basic infrastructure that's not getting put in place by the developers, and it's just absurd.
Yeah, and the ability for a developer to come in and stress the infrastructure before it's mature enough to support, it's not something a Tallahassee state legislator even knows about.
No,
St. Augustine or St. Johns County.
no, they don't, and that's part of the problem. Is like my husband met with SAP a couple weeks ago during the legislative session.
And SAP is?
He's I don't remember which district. I think he's 18.
Oh, okay.
You might have to fix that part, but anyway, so he met with SAP, and he was very nice and spoke to him. But SAP, like a lot of the Tallahassee reps, wants to make North Florida look like South Florida. And we moved here because we didn't want to be in South Florida. And that's a little distressing that you're hearing that from Tally.
Yeah, no, but not surprising.
No, it's
Because
not.
I'm convinced, and I've heard it from many others, that a lobbyist group can sit in one location, Tallahassee, Florida, have all the ears that they need at one place at one time to affect change instead of going city to city to city to push and change whatever their issues are. So for them, it makes perfect sense to have the decisions localized Tallahassee
Yep.
so that they can affect what is going on with us in our backyard and how we build and how we do things. And I too spend a lot of time trying to educate the local community here in Palm Coast of the limitations of what our elected city officials are doing. And I cite constant conversations where our own city representatives, city commissioners, and the county commissioners lay blame at Tallahassee. Well, I'd like to really fix that, but I don't have a say-so in it. I'll give you a great example. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to write an ordinance for an e-bike here in Palm Coast, only to have Tallahassee write their own, which overrides us.
Doesn't help you.
No.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And it doesn't. The county commissioners and the city council hear the citizens, knows what's going on in our backyard, and yet they are powerless to make changes.
Yep.
So that's why I'm so excited to be a part of helping you move forward, as we all should, and realize how critically important this seat is to affect change that will really matter
Yeah.
to the citizens that we all complain about. And it's not party. Because I recently went to a candidate meeting with Republicans. They were nice enough to let me in. I sat and listened to it. And it could have been a room full of Democrats complaining about the things that were going on in the city and the things that were going on in the county. It's all the same. You're being touched.
Yeah, but people keep on voting the same people in again and again and again, and that's they're still voting against what everybody wants. Not, well, the majority of the citizens
Right.
want
Yeah, party loyalty.
is problematic.
Well, and I think, unfortunately, critical thinking, which I've done multiple podcasts on, taking someone, and I'm sure you've talked to them after you knock on doors and they go, I'm a Republican and I'll never vote Democrat. And then they go and give you 20 things that they hate about what's happening, which were all put in place by the supermajority Republican.
Yeah.
But when you bring that to their attention, they don't want to hear it.
No, I can leave a petition with them, but for the most part, they're not willing to sign it, even to
Right.
get me on the ballot. Even if it might engage a conversation with my opponent, because he's pretty quiet.
Oh no, and that's how he ran the last election. He never showed up. I remember Adam Morley, who's a good friend and is a very smart, educated guy, would go to radio debates and stuff, and Sam would never show up.
Yep.
He never participated, never showed up, because he relies on the party loyalty. And I'm going to tell you, in my mind, how I feel. It's not as strong as it was.
I hope so.
I firmly believe, and I listen to many Republicans who are saying, this isn't what I voted for. This isn't what, as you're getting $4 gas and you're going through and all that. Now they're starting to clarify, and I won't name names, but a pretty senior Republican in Flagler County pretty much was telling me, look, I need to clarify. I'm a Reagan Republican. Interesting. So let's have that conversation. Let's talk about what that really means. And we all want to be thrifty. We all want to be very conservative in our monies. That's not a political thing. That's logic.
Yep.
So you were talking about the three things that are on your kind of platform. Touch on those for me.
One of them is overdevelopment. I'd really like to see developers develop more reasonably, not clear cut everything, make sure the infrastructure is in place. If they have to put sidewalks in, it'd be really nice to have sidewalks. Bike lanes. We need to have better roads. The traffic is insane in certain parts of Palm Coast and St. Johns County.
Mm-hmm.
And the developers are just not paying their fair share before they start clear cutting and building properties. I'd like to also focus on education. I'm really concerned about the public schools, the lack of funding. For me, I went to a great public school in Massachusetts, and it was excellent. And public schools are the great equalizer. We need to have a strong, well-educated population because it helps the next generation. And we are not seeing that right now. We have some of the lowest paid teachers in the U.S.
Officially, we are the lowest.
The lowest.
Yeah, depending on how the numbers are.
I know it
some
seems
of them
to fluctuate a little. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we're at least 49, if not 50,
Right.
in terms of teacher pay. And the other thing is the charter schools. With the kids that go to the charter schools, a lot of the time they go back to public schools, and the money isn't following the kid.
Right.
And that's a big thing. And then also the cost of living. I'd like to see Tallahassee address homeowners insurance. This year in Tallahassee, they decided that changing the state bird took priority to lowering homeowners insurance, which was awesome.
It's all about what they think they can get done, and then they reflect back on. But look at all the great stuff that we got approved. And it is important. And you touched on something I want to. We've been talking a lot about the voucher system, and we've been talking about how we know here in Flagler County, in our school district, that there were recipients of the voucher money at the beginning of the year that then came back to the public school,
Yeah.
and that money didn't follow them. And the arguments that I was having with people that were talking about the school board. Well, the point is, it wasn't the Flagler County School Board that had anything to do with this. It's up in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And that's where the message or the education needs to understand where the decision's made And that's a great talking point to build on the platforms you have is first people need to understand where the problem's coming from.
Yeah.
And many don't.
No, they don't. And a couple of teachers I've spoken to have suggested that they pay the money follow the student quarterly or monthly. I think monthly would probably be
Oh, even better.
a challenge.
Right.
But I don't work in that business, so I couldn't tell you exactly the complications. But it does seem like if it got broken up, that would be a fairer way to do it.
But that would be a policy that would be decided upon at the state level because
correct.
they're the ones through our governor that's been pushing the program of trying to empower every citizen to have the right to send their kid where they want, which I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with the misuse that's going on in our money. Here in Flagler County, on our millage rate to the school, the second largest budget item, Flagler County School, was that scholarship program that we had to fund for the vouchers. It was like $17 million. First being, of course, paying for our buses and schools and, the cost of maintenance. But people don't even know that.
No.
People don't realize that they themselves, through their millage, taxes on their property, are going to pay the fees, the vouchers that are going to these students to keep them from going to public school. It's like it's so frustrating for me to have a conversation and try to let them know they're angry, they're upset, you're running into that. But to understand where the fix is going to be at. And it's in Tallahassee.
Yeah, most of the fixes are in Tallahassee.
So, what do you do next?
Well, currently I'm just working on petitions, so I need to get as many petitions as I can in the next month. And I just want to start talking to people and seeing what their concerns are on a one-to-one. And across the board, they really seem to be focused on the cost of living, education, and overdevelopment. Those are what people are primarily concerned about. And my goal is just to be there for the people. I'm not going to be taking PAC money. I'm not going to be bought. And I just want to try to make things a little bit better.
Absolutely. Well, that's the reason public service used to be. As far as your candidate structure, how are you doing on getting volunteers and support? I know that this, as it stands right now, the primary, the August time frame may or may not, I'm not seeing or hearing anybody else wanting to jump into your race.
Yep.
So you still have a little bit of time left to get the structure and get your petitions done, donate, help her, get the power behind her to make a serious run and start a good conversation to hold accountable. And I was having this conversation with somebody recently about educating the voter is in itself an accountability action.
Yep.
Even if we don't win, we start a conversation in which we educate the voters to be more aware of things that happen. And so the Sam Geckos of the world and the leaks that never run, they never campaign, they just get reelected because of party loyalty. The party needs to be aware they're not helping.
And I think part of it that a lot of people don't realize in the state of Florida that I know you realize is a lot of people, like I would probably guess my opponent, are only using the positions as a stepping stone to something else. And that's pretty crappy because we really need people who care about where they live and the people that live there and to do something to make it better because that's what public service ought to be about and
Right.
used to be about until recently.
Yeah, what is it that one candidate kept saying? Is your life better today than it was? And most people, I believe, whether you're Republican or Democrat, get into politics or get into service, whether you're the dog catcher or the mosquito control or city council, has some good behind it, wanting to think they can do something, but it gets lost in the weeds as you find yourself surrounded by lobbyists and money opportunity and donations and those kind of things. And whether that's at city council, we know that we have city council that are taking donations that have come back to bite them, and at the state level and on. And the misuse and the easy opportunity to grab money to make decisions for things is a huge battle. But Suzanna, early stages, you're out there trying to get seen. This is why we're doing this today. You've got a website, which I want you to tell us again.
Oh, SuzannaPavelle.com.
And it's on your
It's
shirt.
on my shirt. I have shirts now.
We have shirts. We're going, and you're going to have yard signs.
Yep,
soon
I will have yard signs. Yep.
And get visibility. Again, a lot. I've been involved in politics here since 2020. This is by far the earliest I've ever seen signs up.
Yeah, there
For
are.
an August primary. A lot of these are running primary runs.
Yeah.
So the conversation is everywhere all the time. And I have to thank the administration for motivating people to have an opinion and get involved and realize there's things we don't like. And there's consequences to voting. We've heard it
There are.
so many times.
Yeah, but independents and Democrats are really excited. I have met some left-leaning Republicans that are excited for an opportunity for a different kind of a
Absolutely.
vote, too.
And I think that's that untapped, as Adam Morley, who ran multiple times for this seat, had always believed, and he still does, I believe, that we're going to take a swing of moderate Republicans that have been registered, that are ready for a change, to see you as that option.
And I met with Adam a few weeks ago, and he was gracious enough to talk to me for a long time, and it was very helpful.
Well, he's got some experience.
He does.
But he's very firm in his morals, and I applaud him for that, and stood his ground and was very clear on what his goals. He's very environmental, very involved with those kind of things. And what are we seeing here at the national level? A total destruction of the environmental pacts and releasing and allowing, it's like we just recently learned that in the state, it's legal to go toilet to tap water systems. And that's where utility takes and processes sewer, gets it to a 90% clean rate, and then pumps it back into the aquifer to replenish the aquifer, because the levels in the aquifer, and we know this if you look at St. John's, is the northern areas are seeing a lowering of the well levels from the aquifer, and that flows down to here in Palm Coast. And that's why you guys are hearing all of this conversation now about water restrictions and trying to be aware of when to water your grass and things like that.
Right.
Comes from the state.
Yep.
So a lot of opportunities for you up there. So you realize it's going to be a full-time job, right?
Yes, I do.
A lot of people get into it thinking, oh yeah, it's only part-time and I'll be up there. And then talk to them a year later, like, I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
They're there now. They didn't pass a budget, so they've
They
extended.
have to come back
They have to come
Yep.
back, and they're talking, governor's going to bring them back, and
for the redistricting as well.
yeah, which that doesn't affect you, right?
Oh, no, the redistricting does not affect
That's
me.
for the federal
Yeah,
level?
yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, it does not affect me at all.
So what do you want people to know about you?
Well, I'm a small business owner. I've lived in St. Augustine for 26 years. I really care about the environment. When I was younger, I worked for the Appalachian Mountain Club in New Hampshire, I worked in the hut system, so I kind of fell in love with hiking and the outdoors. One of my first jobs was on Mount Rainier as a backcountry ranger, which was awesome.
Wow. My son is hiking the Pacific Crest Trail right now.
Oh, I'm so
He just went
jealous.
out, he's coming from down in the San Diego, just passed his first 100 miles.
Good for him.
So he's learning repacking and better shoes and all of that. And he was sharing how many people are on that trail. It's amazing the enjoyment and the things that we have that we got to work hard to protect. So, what do you need? What can we do for you to get you elected?
Initially petitions,
Okay?
donations would be great, but helping me get out to talk to people. Like that's really what I want to do is I want to be here for the people. I want them to know me and know what their concerns are and to know that I will try to address them to the best of my abilities in Tallahassee. I'm tired of people not knowing who is in Tallahassee. Like if I ask people, like, do you know who I'm running against? 9 people out of 10 have no idea. And like you should, like if you're getting represented in Florida, you should know who they are.
I know. And I tell people all the time, as I've said to you, in my mind, of all the midterm elections that are going on, your and our seat is by far the most important because it impacts what our city does, what our county does. Because right now the state is trying to do home rule and get that done. Have you started looking into the radio conversations or being at the candidate meetings and those kind of things to get out there?
Candidate meetings, yes. Radio, not yet.
Okay.
I'm just kind of slowly trying to get comfortable. I hate public speaking, which is
Well, there's
really
nothing
quite,
wrong with that.
so I'm working on slowly getting more comfortable talking in public.
Well, here you are.
And here I am.
That's
This
right.
is certainly more comfortable than like a crowd of people, which is where
I like to practice. I've learned so much by going in front and talking in front of the city council and the county commissioners because you only get 3 minutes.
Yep.
So in 3 minutes, who you are, what you want, why, and thank you.
Yep, I've done that several times. I've gone to the county commissioner meetings. I mean, one of the things that I complained about, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 months ago, was with the developers, what they'll do is they'll plant trees and then they plant them in those plastic pots and then they just plop them up after the...
Oh yeah, after they get inspected.
Yep,
and
after the
blah, blah.
inspection. And like, I got applause when I said, you guys have to have more inspections.
Right.
Because they just don't.
Well, and the thing that
But they don't have the budget to do so. So, I mean, I understand that's,
and all of that is so true. And for me, it amazes me when I drive down, and I live off of Pine Lakes, and we have beautiful trees along Pine Lakes with a nice barrier, and yet a developer comes in and clears it all the way to the road, builds homes, puts a fence up, and then puts in 10 trees when we could require a buffer.
Yep.
There used to be a 50-foot buffer, but the lobbyists through the builders made a comment, from what I understand, was you can't tell me what to do with the property I own. Because we are living in the free state, the freedom state of Florida. And as a builder, but that can be regulated.
But the buffers would be good because then it would also be good for the wildlife.
And sound.
And sound.
Yeah, exactly.
And also for lowering the temperature. It's really good for the environment.
Right.
And with the developers too, they're also building right on wetlands, and they're wondering why things are flooding because we need the wetlands. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Exciting issues and educating the public on where best to make changes, to make those happen, I think is a true struggle. But you can do this because I believe people are mad enough now, upset enough, concerned enough that maybe they'll listen to understand where these decisions come from
Yep.
and how to hold them accountable. And just by you running, just by you being in this election sends the message to Sam Greco and others that there are people that they need to pay attention to and they need to hear. So, get your petitions done.
Yep.
Come to the Democratic office. Her petitions are there. Go to her website. We'll put that up to get her officially done, get past the petitions so that she can start getting focused on being that voice to at least educate you, let you know who is running, who is sitting in Tallahassee, and what they're doing. It's all easy to find.
Yep.
His voting record is there. You can see the issues. You need to educate yourself. As you guys know, I'm always giving you homework. And here's your homework today. Learn about Suzanna, learn about District 19, and learn about lawmaking in Tallahassee because it matters.
Yep. And if you have questions, email me from my website. I have an email address. My goal is to be here for the people.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming, and more so, thank you for jumping in to be a participant.
Well, thank you for having me.
Because I think no better time than now. People are talking politics 24/7. We've got a huge rally coming up this Saturday at Target and over at the Flag downtown Palm Coast. We hope to have everybody that was there and 10 more. Bring your friends.
Yep.
Come and be involved. Let people know that you're not happy with things.
Yep. No Kings. I'm organizing in St. Augustine.
No Kings.
At the Castillo. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Perfect.
So 9:30 to 11:30
You know,
here in St. Augustine.
I spent 20 years serving this country for people who have the right to do those things in the Constitution. The freedom of speech,
Yep.
the freedom to protest, the freedom to be involved and participate. So don't let me down. Get out there and pay attention to Suzanna. See what's happening because today is the day. Today's the day that you are going to sign a petition, that you are going to educate yourself and get involved. Because the days are running out, as we see every day in the news. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to share?
I don't know. I guess that's good.
That's good?
I think that's
Well, it's just a start.
Yep.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's a marathon race, and educating the voters is probably the biggest challenge that we and many others have, because the participation level. I read something interesting, and I'll close with this. In Illinois, they had a primary. 68% of Democrats turned out for a primary.
Yeah.
32% Republicans turned out for a primary. Think about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys,
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for paying attention to the podcast. And we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.